Hi everyone, I am Dibin Krishnan R, Assistant Professor, Department of Electronics and Communication Engineering, Jyoti Engineering College, Thrissur. Today, I would like to discuss about the topic sampling theorem and its proof, which comes under the syllabus of Digital Communication System under APJ Abdul Kalam Kerala Technological University. So, we know that the process of sampling is the first step of analog to digital conversion. So, we know that our input signal will be a baseband analog information. It will be low frequency, a low amplitude signal, and this signal, while we are converting that signal into digital version, it consists of basically three steps: sampling, quantization, and encoding. And sampling is the process which comes first. So we can simply define sampling as a conversion of continuous amplitude, continuous time signal into continuous amplitude, discrete time signals. That means after sampling, we will get a discretized version of time for the signal, and amplitude continuity will be like as the same as our input signal. So for the process of sampling, there should be a rule for getting the original signal back as like our original signal information when we are reconstructing it. For that, we are following the rule which is called as sampling theorem. So here we are mentioning the sampling theorem for band limited signal, that means the low frequency signals. So the term band limited means the signal can be considered as a signal with a maximum frequency component that we know. So let's go to the statement. Let x of t be a signal which is band limited such that its highest frequency spectral component is fm. Let the values of x of t be determined at regular intervals separated by ts less than or equal to 1 by 2 fm. That is, the signal is periodically sampled every ts seconds. Then these samples x of n ts, where n is an integer, uniquely determines the signal, and the signal may be reconstructed from these samples with no distortion. So this is a sampling theorem. Simply we can take our basic equation Fs, which is the sampling frequency, should be greater than or equal to 2fm. Or otherwise we can state it as or we can convert that into two sentences or two statements. The first statements, let's see, the first statement will be an analog information which has the maximum frequency component fm can be represented by its samples. That can be considered as the first statement. An analog information can be represented by its samples. And the second statement will be like the original analog information can be reconstructed from its samples if we sample the same signal with a sampling frequency of fs which should be greater than or equal to 2 fm, where fm is the maximum frequency component of our information signal. Okay, now here we mentioned a time duration ts, which is the inverse of our sampling frequency fs. That is, the relation between fs and ts will be fs is equal to 1 by ts. Now we have to prove this statement is it's a solid one for sampling process, or we have to prove it mathematically. That means in such a way that we have to show the original signal can be reconstructed if we maintained this, or if we followed this rule. So that's the proof for the theorem. Okay, so in the proof we are showing in such a way that initially we will define our information signal x of t, then we will define our sampling signal delta ts of t, then we'll go for the process sampling, and after sampling we will analyze our sample signal, and from this sampled signal we can form our basic equation. And in the next stage we will try to reconstruct the signal, and what is the circuit or process of reconstruction, that we will discuss. So that's the entire steps we are going to follow in this discussion. Now move to the proof of sampling theorem. Let x of t be the signal to be sampled. So in the figure here we have an x of t, which is an analog information. You can see it has a continuous nature in amplitude and continuous nature in time. So it's a basic analog information signal. Now this is a signal which should be sampled. Given that x of t is a band limited to fm hertz. So now the term band limited comes. What do you mean by band limited? Band limited means the band is limited up to the frequency fm. That's the term band limited. So for knowing that we have shown the frequency domain signal here of x of t here. That means when you are taking the Fourier transform of x of t, you will get x of omega. See, x of t is on the left hand side, which is a continuous signal. X of omega is on the right hand side, in which we can plot the signal in terms of omega, or we can plot the same signal in terms of f. Both are related to frequency. If we are mentioning f, then it's basically frequency, or if it is omega, it will be angular frequency. That's the difference. And we know the relation, omega is equal to 2 pi f. That will be the relation. See the maximum amplitude. Let's see the frequency domain representation. The maximum amplitude is A, and its shape is a bell-like shape, and its maximum frequency is fm, and its band is from minus fm to plus fm. This is the representation of a band limited signal. Okay, then why the shape? Why we have a bell-like shape? It's just for the simplicity of this derivation. Or we can choose the shape of a square, or we can choose the shape of a rectangle, or we can choose the shape of a triangle, or it can be different for different textbooks. For example, in analog communication, it's a triangular shape we are used to represent the band limited signals. So here we are taking for simplicity, we have a bell-like shape. It's not it just has the meaning that it's non-zero for minus fm to plus fm. That's the basic difference. That means the spectral component has the non-zero amplitude for minus fm to plus fm. So this is the representation of x of t. Now next we have to think about delta of t, which is the sampled signal, and the process of sampling that we will discuss on the next video.